All right. We're here. We are here. We are live. Got a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss tonight after a terrible, terrible UCF loss. So many missed opportunities. It's sickening, but I think, again, this is the UCF team we've grown accustomed to, and we'll get into all of it tonight. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the UCF versus Texas Tech Charge On post-game show presented by, I don't even know who we're presented by tonight. My head is everywhere. BetOnline, our usual partners. BetOnline, the last of the major pro sports leagues is off and rolling, and college basketball is ready to go as well. BetOnline remains your top spot for all your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, and NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. All the hoops betting action along with every sport available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and remember to use our promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. This is an open forum, everybody. It's an open forum. I want you to be able to drop your comments down below. Let me see if I can fix the camera there. A little too much headroom there. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm going to give my thoughts. I have to text. We are recording a pod right after this. So I've got to get that kind of set up. But while I'm doing that, if you want to send in a super chat, we've got those now set up. We've passed 500 subscribers. So if you want to become a member of the channel, hit the channel button and it says join. We've got a bunch of options there. If you want to send in a super chat, we'd really appreciate it. But besides that, I'd love to hear just your thoughts in the chat. Tough game. Missed opportunities is UCF football this season, and I think for a couple seasons. And you can go back through this game, and it was missed opportunity after missed opportunity, mistake after mistake. And frankly, that's what lost UCF this game. I mean, you can look at Texas Tech and just say they moved the ball all over the defense. You could say that. You could say the offense beat themselves basically the entire game. You could say that too. But ultimately, this came down to UCF being UCF and making the mistakes that they normally make. And that's basically it. So as soon as we get started, we'll be able to be ready. All right, Alex, some poor decisions, but I'm not mad because that place is rough on visitor teams. Listen, you're not wrong. You are 100% right. It is a struggle for visiting teams. We said in our, preseason predictions, we said the likelihood UCF wins this game was low, given how hard it is to go into Lubbock and win in that environment. With that being said, the team Texas Tech has, credit their defense. Defensively, they played really well. And I think, honestly, probably them and West Virginia to a degree are the best that has played defense against the Knights this year. But at the end of the day, it was just missed opportunities. Like, we'll go through the stats here. Again, it's tied up 14-14 at the end of the half, or you're driving at the end of the first half and you run a shovel pass to RJ Harvey. That can't happen, right? So that's a missed opportunity. That's 3 points right there. You lose by 1, and that was at least 3 points if you play the clock right. Then open up the half, you get a stop on defense. You need to go down and score. UCF doesn't. Okay. Then they, get Texas Tech back in the game. Then it's Colton Boomer misses a field goal. Okay, so don't get any points there. Then you continuously move the ball. They score. It's up 21-14. Get a field goal. Okay, 21-17. You score, but you miss the extra point. And that can't happen. Colton had a great game up until he had obviously the fake field goal, which was great by the coach's staff, but that hurts you. Special teams has been The last 2 weeks, I mean, even last week, special teams was awful against Oklahoma State. And this week, it was awful once again. Tyler, Boomer and the refs had Texas Tech money line using code BELIEVE. Tyler, yeah, the refs were pretty awful. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There were some questionable calls. Give them credit in the second half. I mean, I think in the second half, they called it pretty evenly. I mean, there was a couple calls that they didn't even call on us that I think, could have come back to bite us, but they picked up the flag. I think there's two clear-cut losers in this game on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball, it's going to be interesting. Tylen Grable, offensively, awful. Actually, there's two. Tylen Grable and Kobe Hudson. Kobe Hudson dropped more balls tonight than I think he has in 2 years. It was awful with the drops. And then Tylen Grable. Awful play on the offensive line today. Could not stop holding. Could not stop going up the field. It was continuous on Tylen Grable. And that really ultimately, he just killed offensive drives tonight. I mean, killed. And then on the defense, I'm going to say Damari Henderson. I mean, Gus said he's in his opinion, one of the best safeties in the league. If you're one of the best safeties in the Big 12, you need to show it every week. He had a monster game last week. There's no doubting that. Came out last week and 3 turnovers. I mean, played with his, hair on fire, as Gus likes to say. But today he was awful. I mean, he was terrible today. So those are my big losers on the offensive defensive side of the ball. We're going to get to a couple more of your comments before we go into the stats, because I think the stats basically just tell you the entire story. Got Guava, man, those extra points hurt. I mean, here's the thing. The last extra point, the extra point that was blocked, at the end of the day, you saw how Texas Tech moved the ball just by taking their time. I think ultimately, with the way the defense was playing, I think they would have went down and scored either way. I mean, if it was a tied game, it was 5 minutes left. I think they would have went down and scored regardless. So I'm not too, again, would you have liked it to be a tie game? Absolutely. But defense had more than enough chances to stop Taj Brooks there, and they could not stop him all day. Kevin Suarez said agreed to Guava. Yeah, they hurt. Trust me. Colton Boomer's worst game of the night, easily. Obviously, with the missed field goal and then the missed extra point. So, yeah. Tyler, can't say 3 if we manage the clock better, considering it was 2 very easy field goals. Yeah, I mean, there was multiple. That's what I'm saying. There was multiple chances for UCF to win this game. You cannot blame it. Like, it came down to missed opportunities, both sides of the ball. But offensively, you just need to be better when you get in certain situations. This looked like Boise 2.0 all over again, just without the turnovers in the red zone. Just poor clock management, poor fundamental football. Like, again, there's no question. Like, I haven't even looked at the stats, but let me tell you again, we outgained Texas Tech. We had 487 yards of offense, ran for 238. Passed for 249, which was only 7 less than Texas Tech. UCF has been able to move the ball on every single soul that they have played this year. The problem has not been moving the ball. The problem is they can't get out of their own way. That has been the problem for UCF football all season long. In every single loss, go down and look at the 6 losses. Go look at all 6. Not one of them, except Kansas. Because Kansas, it was just, terrible all the way around. Not one of them did you not have a chance to win, and not one of them you can look at and say, oh, the other team just played better. Texas Tech did not just play better than you. I think they were 2 evenly matched teams today. UCF made more mistakes, and that ultimately cost you the win. That's all it is. Alex, I had this as a loss this year before the season started, but we shot ourselves in the foot. Mostly JRP trying to do too much, Boomer not being clutch, that decision at the end of the first half. I'm not blaming this on John Rhys Plumlee. Again, John Rhys, at the end of the day, the one interception, I get. He was getting hit as we threw the ball. Somebody told me that we had thrown it 8 straight times to that point, which, again, you can look at that and say, oh, okay, maybe you should have thrown in some runs there. They were kind of playing the pass more heavily, but he got hit on the throw. So it's not all on John Rhys. I think John Rhys played as well as you can today. There was, again, drops by Kobe Hudson on many good thrown balls. There was, offensive penalties by Tylen Grable that backed the offense up. At one point, it was 1st and 26. I mean, give me a break. You can only blame John Rhys so much. Obviously, Boomer not being clutch. Yes, I don't know if that was blocked. Somebody said it was blocked. I don't think it was blocked. I think he shanked it, which, again, that ultimately hurt you. Missing a field goal and an extra point, that's 4 points right there. That wins you the game. Got Guava all the play for versus Houston. And let me tell you, I watched a little of the Houston game today. That's not like, I've been a pretty big hater on Houston this season. If you get a Houston team that is desperate, which I think they're going to be, next week is not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. Next week is going to be a dogfight for a bowl eligibility. And just thank God it's at home. But yeah, you wanted to win today, obviously, because 2 5-6 teams fighting for a bowl game is not where you want to be. Stetson, assuming the field goal and extra point was made, the last drive could have been a touchdown from that NFL running back. Yeah, exactly, Stetson. That's what I'm saying. I don't think, people can say all they want. The missed extra point. Yeah, that ultimately hurts because you at least have a chance. Maybe Texas Tech does a couple things differently on their final drive that maybe gives UCF a chance. They had 5 minutes with a running back that UCF hadn't been able to stop all day. They stacked the box. They couldn't tackle. And that's, you're playing the number 1 running back in the country in missed tackles. And you stacked the box, couldn't do much. So Banksy for president, fire Addison. Banksy. So I know there's going to be a lot of fire Addison people because of how bad the season has gone. You can't blame Addison Williams for missed tackles. It's not, especially not after last week. I mean, you can blame him for scheme. You can blame him for this and that, but you held him to 24. You got 3 stops in the game where they had to punt. You got an interception. Football, you have to play complementary football, and UCF has not played complementary football all year in crucial positions. They had an easy chance to win this game. They just didn't do it. And give the defense credit where credit's due. They made stops when needed, but give Texas Tech's defense a whole lot of credit too. They also made big plays, and also UCF hurt themselves. Tyler Kobe Hudson had 2 great catches that were ruled incomplete, but obviously complete can't say he had a bad game. I can say he had a bad game because he did have a bad game. He made 2 great catches in the first half that both were ruled incomplete. You are right that the first one definitely was not complete. He did have a foot out of bounds on the touchdown. The second one was a BS call. That was a catch. I don't care. That was a great catch. But Tyler, go look at the rest of the game. He dropped every single ball that he should have caught. You can blame it on good defense all you want. There was no good defense. The ball hit him every single time in the chest, or he had hands on the ball. He dropped every single, let me see how many targets he had. I mean, 2 catches on 8 targets. He had 8 targets tonight. Like, you can sit here and say, oh, he had a good game. He had 2 good catches. He had 2 catches on 8 targets. That is not a good game to me. And every single one of the rest of them in the second half were dropped. Big drops, by the way. Blue Sky Trevors. The exact same thing happened at the end of the half last week. Poor time management lost us a field goal. There's no excuse for doing it twice. 100%. Time management has been poor at times for UCF, and this was probably the biggest. Texas Tech was driving consistently. They couldn't be stopped on offense. UCF got down on the, 4-yard line, and you run a shovel pass when you don't have a timeout. And you use the timeout with 30 seconds left when the clock stops. So, again, this is where have a great win and dominate, but then you question Gus and you say, Gus, like, why are Why are some of these things? Now, granted, that was on Darren Hinshaw. Darren Hinshaw is the one calling the plays. I don't know why he ran a shovel pass. I think he had X kind of open if he hit him right. But again, it's neither here nor there. They didn't do clock management right. It's 2 straight weeks, and it is what it is. Banks for president, it's Addison Williams' fault, guys. Again, you can blame Addison Williams all you want. Offense had just as much fault as the defense today. Yes, should the defense have made a stop? Sure, they should have made a stop at the end of the game. Should the offense, should the special teams, should we have made a couple field goals? Yeah. Should the offense have ran a shovel pass? No. So complimentary football. That's all it is. You can blame Addison Williams for a part of it. Yes, his defense looked poor today, but they still held him to 24 points, which if you go and look at Texas Tech's record with that guy in as quarterback for Texas Tech, not many times they're scoring 24. Tyler, Houston losing today means they have no chance at bowl eligibility, so they probably won't have much energy playing us on the road. Oh, were they 4 and... Hold on. Are you right? Let me check. Yeah, you're right. They're 4 and 7. They're 4 and 7. Yeah, you're right. But here's the thing. They're going to want to stop us from going to a bowl game. Yeah, they're players. Like, ultimately, who knows? There might be a couple players that don't play next week for them. We'll see. But if I had to guess, they're going to be hungry to hand UCF a loss to keep them out of a bowl game. Big 12, Brad, we lost as a team today. Exactly, Brad. Again, I'll say it 50 million times. You have to play good complementary football. You can't blame it. Now, granted, in other weeks, you could blame it on the defense, right? You could blame it on the defense not showing up. Today, it was everybody. Offense, defense, special teams. They were all not good enough to win the football game today. Just plain and simple. Plain and simple. Alex, no, JRP is not at all to blame, but I think he panics when things don't start going well. He's done well. Kobe didn't show up until that last touchdown. It's just frustrating that we do well last game and do this. Coaches getting fired isn't going to change anything when we are transitioning from one conference to a tougher one. So that wasn't Kobe on the last one. That was Javon Baker. Kobe didn't do that last touchdown. Again, he was awful. I'm not going to, the 2 catches that could have been catches were great. It is what it is. I do agree that John Rhys at some points, you are correct, that he just gets a little flustered. But again, you have to help him out at some points. And I don't think UCF did a lot to help him out today. Let's look at his stats. I got him up here. 16 of 32, 249, a touchdown and interception. Obviously, the completion percentage is not good at 50%. That's, 16 of 32 is not good. But again, I think a lot of those balls in the second half weren't necessarily his fault. He's your leading rusher today, 13 carries for 84 yards. He looked good today. He pulled really well. He didn't just force anything, which is really good. And I think, again, UCF's offense is dependent on 50-50 balls, 50-50 plays. I don't think he threw it, obviously, as well as he did last week, but I also don't think it was, an awful performance. He definitely needs to be better throwing the football. But again, I think he could have been helped out a lot by the pass catchers today. Foster dad, Jordan Travis needs prayers. Had Mackenzie Milton type injury. Yeah. Prayers up to Jordan Travis. It was disgusting to watch. Any type of those injuries. I thought it was a joke. I saw it on Twitter, like, oh, Jordan Travis, really bad injury. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was just because they were down 13-0. And I'm like, oh, I got to go. Let's watch this. And yeah, just terrible. And the funny thing is, it's not funny. I don't know why I said that. Nick is a semi-Florida State fan. He's a Florida State fan, as well as a UCF fan. So he was a Florida State fan as a kid, came to UCF, was a UCF fan. He's in Tennessee. He's on vacation. And I texted him like, hey, dude, I'm so sorry. That was an ugly, ugly injury. Hope you're okay. And he calls me and he's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? Are you not watching the Florida State and UCF game? And he goes, I'm not watching either. What's going on? And I had to tell him on the phone. And I remember where I was watching the Mackenzie Millen injury. I was in the Seminole Town Center Mall because I worked there at the time, and I was on break, and I was watching UCF versus USF, and I'm watching it on a TV, and it's like, you'll never forget that feeling. So, prayers up to Jordan Travis, and I'm sorry for all the FSU fans. It's terrible, and I pray for his family, him, and everybody. That sucks. Tyler, do you think Baker or Kobe stay for another year? I think both of them stay. From what I've been hearing, I think both of them stay. I think another year with how the offense has done this year, I think they both stay another year. I could be wrong. Who knows? I think they definitely, UCF needs to go to a bowl game. Let's just say that. But I do think they both stay. I also think RJ Harvey stays another year as well, from what we've all been hearing. Fallen Hero, the base legend, synopsis of our season in this game. Yeah, it is like UCF season has been missed opportunities. I think I think a lot of Big 12 teams can say that this year. Missed opportunities, missed chances. Like that's ultimately what it's been. And for UCF to lose games like this, I think we'll all be okay if ultimately you go to a bowl game. Like you need to win next week. We'll talk about that on, our pregame show for Houston. You need to go to a bowl game. 5-7, though there was highs, you need to go into next season on a high note. And I think going to a bowl game is huge. But 5-6, listen, to have one game to win it all, or to go to a bowl game, it's stressful. But they have not done themselves any favors this year. They have not done themselves any favors. The Oklahoma State win was huge and helped you, but it's almost like, call it like it is. You won last week, but then now you need one win to go to a bowl game. You're 5-6. So our season in a nutshell is correct, Fallen Hero. Alex, take away John Rhys Plumlee's ability to run like Texas Tech did and make him one-dimensional. So they figured that out, and we lost. They took his help away. I don't agree, Alex. I don't agree. He ran for 86 yards on 13 carries. I think, again, they were stopping the run pretty well. Like RJ Harvey didn't really have holes to run through tonight. So it kind of forced us to throw. I think John Rhys, if anything, made a lot of stuff out of nothing on a lot of those RPO plays that we called. So again, I hate it because every time there's a loss, there's always going to be people that bash John Rhys Plumlee. And it seems like you're kind of in that, John Rhys didn't play well or isn't good because a team takes away something and then he becomes one-dimensional. I don't think so. I think he has thrown a really good ball. I think Texas Tech just had a really good defensive scheme today. But again, let's look at the stats again. I said it. They outgained Texas Tech. They had 7 less passing yards. They had, I think, 50 or 60 more rush yards. They had basically the same number of first downs. They were 9 of 15 on third down. So they converted 66% of their third downs. They ran 72 plays, had 6.8 average yards per play. They were 3-5 in the red zone. And Texas Tech was 3-4. I don't know. Like, you can put semi-blame on John Rhys because I think he deserves semi-blame for the game he had today. But I haven't gone on Twitter yet, but if I see a bunch of people just continuously bash John Rhys, he should take part of the blame 100%. There's some plays I wish that he would have back and do stuff differently. But you can't praise him last week and then come this week and has a decent game and it's, blame John Rhys. Blame special teams. Special teams had more of a reason for us losing than John Rhys. Blame the defense not being able to get a stop, then more on John Rhys. The pick was not all on him. He got hit while throwing the football. Big 12 Brad, I hope we can settle on an O-line rotation in the offseason. Not going to happen. I wish. That'd be nice. Lukahi Poli is a senior. He's gone. I like him at center. A couple of the weird snaps, but that's, again, he never plays center. I've liked the offensive line that we put out this last couple weeks. There's going to be a lot of changes. A lot of changes on the O-line. I think they definitely go in the portal. Tylen Grable, not it. Marcellus Marshall, he can be iffy, but Yeah. The offensive line's been weird this year, but I think we've actually settled in a little bit right now. Kevin, I wish we did more creative stuff with our run game, more window dressing, pure snap, kind of like the Niners do. It feels like RJ has to make things happen out of nothing at times. Partially, Kevin, that's just because the offensive line hasn't been good at creating holes for him. They've been good the last couple weeks. Obviously, he's had, 100 yards in however many straight games, not including today. But you're right. I mean, it's been a lot of. I think they try with the. They're trying to get him. Sorry, that's weird. There we go. They're trying to they're trying to get defenders' eyes going in different spots, right? So if you motion over Johnny and then you hike it as soon as Johnny's cutting over, you don't need to necessarily run some of the stuff the Niners do because the defenders' eyes are going in 5 different directions. Is John Rhys going to run? Is he going to hand it off to RJ? Is he going to hand it off to Johnny Richardson? If you watch tape on UCF, you know they might only hand it to Johnny once in a game on one of those kind of plays. You're not wrong. I do think they can really do some different stuff with that. But, we can't complain too much since he has run for over 100 and however many straight games. But I do agree, Kevin. A lot of that has just been RJ breaking tackles and making something out of nothing. You are right on that. Alex, that's a career-ending injury for JT. Sucks. He was en route to great things. Let's not, say it's career. I don't know. I don't want to comment on anything there. Prayers up to him. Again, we've all been through it. We all watched, McKenzie, something like that happen, and McKenzie came back. Now I get he is a senior, but just not. It's rough. It's just, yeah, it's rough. I don't want to talk about it too much. Prayers up. Tyler, do you think Bowman and McDonald not touching the ball anymore is a redshirt year? Good question, Tyler. Yes. Bowman's not going anywhere. Bowman was injured for most of the year. He doesn't really have a choice because he's already transferred so many times. McDonald, I would be shocked if McDonald doesn't transfer. McDonald's 100% transferring. When you have Mark Anthony Richards in there over McDonald's transferring. That's at least my thought. It's definitely for a red shirt, 100%. Like, it's definitely for a red shirt, but I also think my guess is he's gone, especially if RJ comes back. If RJ comes back, he's 1,000,000% gone. But I do think there's a solid chance Jordan McDonald transfers out because they used him early, but they have not used him since. And I think that's because they were trying to use him in the they were trying to use him in the Isaiah Bowser role, and that just did not work out. He just didn't hit the holes the same in that Wildcat formation. But good question. Good question. Because I actually was going to mention that, but again, the game just slipped my mind. Fallen Hero, hell, I hate to say this, but Colton Boober costed us the game more than John Rhys. He did. He had the one big fake field goal, which put on the burners. Let me tell you, he could run the football. But he did cost us the game more than John Rhys. No question about it. Again, missed extra point, missed field goal. Can't happen. Special teams has been awful. Hasn't just been Colton Boomer. I mean, punt return, kick return, it's been pretty bad. I don't even want to know where we are in the country with yards on kickoff returns. I mean, it's probably terrible. Max Blackman, Plumlee played well besides that pick and bad decision to get Harvey the ball with no timeouts and clock runs out. A run D was suspect again, but missed kicks killed and the clock management was poor. Only reason it hurt so bad is because JRP looked good, and if he was healthy, who knows which game we would have won. Who's our quarterback next year? That's the problem for next year. Yeah, Max, I'll highlight your comments if I could. Those are spot on. I mean, clock management poor. You're 100% right. We've talked about that. Plumlee, yes, it's all what could have happened if he was healthy, because I think you guys have seen it. And I think people don't like to talk about it that are John Rhys haters or on the UCF fan base that just don't care for John Rhys as quarterback. John Rhys has made significant strides this year compared to last year. I mean, he has thrown the ball way better than he did last year. So it does suck. I mean, again, Baylor game. If you lose, if you don't go to a bowl game because You could have had that Baylor game. I don't think you need John Rice there, but I mean, it would have been nice. It would have been nice. But you're spot on there. Uh, yeah, it just sucks. You've got 1 week to potentially make a bowl game. Lone Star Law, Tech fan here. Wish the game didn't come down to a whiffed PAT. Definitely sucks. We Tech fans know what that's like. Fun game otherwise, though. Yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, I think Tech deserved to win. UCF made too many mistakes in critical positions. Tech played more of a mistake-free football game. Obviously, not early. They had the interception later in the game, and they went for 2 straight fourth downs early. But besides that, I mean, ultimately, Tech played better and deserved to win the football game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Alex, I'm not a JRP basher. Everything runs through him. They made it much harder on him in that last play at the first half where he pitched it for nothing. Was a, uh, I think you meant to say senile, but seminal moment. Yeah, no, not a. That last play at the half was an idiotic play call, especially with no timeouts. I know what they were doing. They were assuming that, because again, I was even telling the people I was watching, I said, they don't have any timeouts. They're going to throw the football. They know we're going to throw the football. They know we're not going to run. I think they just assumed the hole was going to be wide open. I think because they were just going to go off and look at the window dressing with the receivers, and there was going to be a wide open hole. Texas Tech played it beautifully, and you get what you got, which sucks. Again, that's potentially 3 points, and if you look at the score, that wins you the game. But yeah, it's awful. Noel, for real, who's our quarterback next year? Is it Dylan? Who the hell knows? I don't think the quarterback for next year's on the roster. I frankly don't. If it is, I think we have bigger problems. Unless Dylan Risk is really, really, really good, I don't see it happening. I think Dylan has potential from what the coaches have said, but we also haven't seen Dylan play. And I think in the second year of Big 12 play, and hopefully the first year you were 6-6, hopefully, not trying to jinx it. I don't see how you can go in with a freshman quarterback because he's a true freshman this year. He'll be a freshman next year. I don't see how you can do it. I don't think they go with Timmy McClain. Whoever is the top 5 quarterbacks in the transfer portal, you go after. If it's Michael Pratt, go after him. If it's, who knows? But you need to go after guys that are in the region and have already shown that they can. And let's face it. I said you just go for the best quarterback. I think they go after obviously a dual threat, even though I would rather just have a pure passing quarterback at this point. But that's not how we run our offense. Tyler, do you think being from Kansas will enter the portal? Absolutely not. No, because he's going to be the starter next year. Jalen Daniels is probably going to enter the portal. And to be honest, I mean, Jalen Daniels, people are going to go after him, but his injury history is just way too extensive. I mean, you can't. When he's on the field, he's electric. When he's not on the field, you can't trust it. Like, it's so no. Jason Bean will probably stay at Kansas because he's going to be the starting quarterback next year. I know Bowman personally, he loves that UCF. He's not going anywhere. I think Bowman will make a significant impact next year. I think Bowman next year is going to, because I don't know if Johnny will stay. I think Johnny also has an extra year, but I don't know if the coaches are going to maybe, I don't want to say force guys out, but I think DeMarcus Bowman, you need to get him the ball. I know early it was kind of the fumbling issues. I don't know if he's cleaned that up. I know one of the main reasons he's not playing is because of the injury problems this season. But you got to find a way to get DeMarcus Bowman in the game next year. No ifs, ands, or buts. All right, let's quickly go down a couple of the final stats. Obviously, Taj Brooks, 24 attempts for 182 yards and a touchdown. We had 1 week off from poor run defense, and today was more so the tackling. It wasn't even the run defense. It was the tackling more than anything, which, again, Taj Brooks is known to just break tackles. So credit him, but that was the more disappointing thing. It wasn't anything the offensive line was doing. It was more so just the player itself. Byron Morton, 21 of 35, 256, 2 touchdowns and an interception. I think he played really well. I think he obviously made a couple mistakes, but he managed the game really well and made really good throws when needed. And again, if you look at the receiving for Texas Tech, I mean, I'm not going to name the names. 55, 41, 30, 77, 32. Like, guys just caught balls. Javon Baker today for us, 118 yards on 4 receptions, a touchdown. Obviously had the long one. 71 of his 118 was just that one play. Xavier Townsend, 4 receptions for 38 yards. I think I heard from somebody that Xavier Townsend might be entering the portal. I don't know if it's true or not, but I am hearing that he might be entering the portal. That's only from one person, though, so it's not like I've gotten more sources, so that could be potentially wrong. Stetson, if you go, I'm getting my stats on you. If you go, UCF puts out a tweet every week with like the game notes and stuff. There's a live stats button there for media where we can look at stats. Alex, UCF needs to go after that. I do not even know how the heck to say that name. Topekaliga High School quarterback out of Osceola County. Recruiting wise, that kid is a monster. I had no idea who that is. All I know is over the next 2 years, the guy that UCF needs to highly recruit is out of Lake Mary High School. Lake Mary High School. You all hopefully know who I'm talking about. But yeah, Lake Mary High School. Alex, 3,000 yards passing a year as a junior. And listen, they definitely need to go after quarterbacks. But again, they have been getting a quarterback in every single class. They need to go get a transfer quarterback specifically this offseason because it's going to get really, really rough. Read a couple more of these stats. If you guys want to, we are accepting memberships really quickly. So if you're a fan of our channel, you can join and become a member of the show. We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff over the next year, especially with, a lot of cool things coming up with the signing day and transfer portal and hopefully a bowl game. It's going to be really exciting. And also if you want to drop any support, we really do appreciate it because we're always trying to find new ways to keep the channel going and support the channel. EJ will be goated in 2025. EJ is, I think, going to be really good, but again, you can't bank on a lot of these freshmen and these recruits unless they're really highly touted. But EJ has shown a lot on film. I think he's a UF commit. I don't know. Yeah, Alex, I'll look up their 2025 in a second. Let's go through more stats. Listen, Johnny Richardson, again, I don't know what it is. They just do not play him enough and they don't give him the ball enough. I think he did a lot of good stuff today. 3 rushes for 37 yards. I think one of the negatives on offense is they should have got him the ball more. That's just me. Alec Holler did decent. He had the one bad penalty. The really bad penalty that, I think cost us the first down. Randy Pittman, again, they don't really target him much. They keep saying how much they want to get him the ball, and they really don't. One interesting stat, no team had a sack today. 0 sacks from both teams. Both teams had 2 tackles for loss, but I think credit the offensive line, or I don't know if it's just the defensive line. Defensive line did not play good on our part. They just did not get any pressure on the quarterback, and that ultimately hurt you in the long run. But yeah, and then again, penalties. 8 penalties for 64 yards. We've been pretty good the last couple weeks on penalties, not really beating ourselves. But again, today you really beat yourself. If Gus is gone, EJ ain't here. We can leave it at that. Gus is not going to leave. I do not think he's taking the Arkansas job. Again, highly respected Arkansas sources have come out and said that he has not shown any interest and does not want any interest. So I don't think Gus is leaving, which I hope nobody would want that. Drive chart. Last thing before we kind of take final thoughts. The UCF drive chart. This is kind of the thing you can look in, just bang your head against a wall. Obviously, touchdown to start, then a punt, and then a touchdown, right? Start 14-0. Halftime, which is the bad one. Punt, field goal attempt, interception, and then in the fourth quarter, you get a field goal and a touchdown. I know, like, on the surface, it doesn't seem like much, but when you really break it down, especially from halftime on, missed opportunity. Like, think about it. Halftime, missed opportunity. Could have been put up a field goal. You didn't get it. Get the ball after defense stops them coming back from halftime, and you have to punt the ball away. And I think most of that was because UCF had basically beat themselves. I think that was the Tyler Grable, what the hell are you doing? Like 3 flags. Punt that. Then move the ball, field goal attempt, miss. Okay. Then throw an interception. Great. Okay. And at that point, you're going into the third quarter. Great. You get a field goal, not a touchdown. You get a field goal. And at that point, you're down 21-17. And then great. You get a touchdown on a 43-second quick drive that could have tied it. But again, if you look at Texas Tech's drive chart, it's downs. So both fourth downs that they didn't get. So turnover on downs, touchdown, punt, interception. Great for us. Punt, could have made a stop there. So literally 3 straight defensive plays in the third quarter. And what did UCF answer, right? Okay, they punted. Well, we punted. Then they got an interception. Then we got a field goal attempt. Then they punted. Then we got an interception. So again, UCF beat themselves. There's nothing that Texas Tech did in those moments that messed with UCF. It was all UCF, and that's all we need to talk about at this point. Michael, Oklahoma State fan here, was rooting for you. Sorry for the loss. Yeah, credit to you guys. You guys came back against Houston. It wasn't looking good early, but that's why you play a full game. And that's why when we were up 14-0, you don't just win. The Big 12 is weird. I'll give a couple more seconds just for you guys to drop your final thoughts down below. We got exciting stuff coming up. We're going to be recording a pod literally right after I end the stream. That'll be going up tomorrow. We'll be having our Houston preview next because Thursday's Thanksgiving. So won't be our normally scheduled day. It'll be probably on Friday that we give a Houston preview. And then we got a lot of exciting stuff. We're going to be doing a lot more live streams. Going to be talking some UCF basketball coming up because that's going to be a crap show, most likely. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? If you're a UCF fan, Big 12 fan, whatever you are, subscribe because we are going to continuously do content. We don't stop when the season stops. We continuously do content to bring you guys all the news that UCF fans deserve. And yeah, that's basically it. There's no other comments. Guys, I really appreciate you stopping in the stream. Tough loss. Another tough loss this season. Hopefully, again, next week is crucial. It's your season. It's you go to a bowl game or you go home and the next month sucks. I don't know. Luckily, you're getting Houston, but at the same time, Houston is not easy. It's not just an easy game. Yes, they don't really have much to play for. They don't have anything to play for at this point. But they do have a American versus American war going on where they want to beat us. So not the spot you want to go into, but I think Nick was the one that basically predicted this entire season pretty spot on. He said you're going to be 5-6 going into the last week, and you got to beat Houston at home to get into a bowl game. So I'm sure all these players are going to be fighting for that and want to finish with 6 wins. And that's kind of all you wanted in your final season. First season in the Big 12. Final comment from Alex. Let's just beat Houston after their head coach said we're a joke as a space city. Go basketball. Yep. That's going to be an interesting one. I wish we were wearing the space jerseys. I don't know why we wore it against Oklahoma State, but we'll take it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Tough loss tonight as your UCF Knights lose to Texas Tech 24-23. And they have one more game left in the 2023 first Big 12 season against Houston. This has been Charge On, presented by Bet Online. We will see you guys Friday. Have a happy Thanksgiving.